Brambro back with some Grand Tactician Civil War, our CSA campaign in the 1.06 beta. If you're new to the channel or to the series, what we're doing here is it's a fairly slow campaign, the pace, because the focus is kind of on exploring the features of the 1.06 update, which is currently available in the dev branch. Any player can opt in and play it, but it is still beta. It hasn't gone live in the main game. And so we're trying to figure it out. And there's a lot to it. So that's what's going on. I hope you enjoy the video. If so, leave a like, leave a comment, perhaps even a subscribe. I would appreciate it. Okay, so where we had left off the last episode, where we did not have a battle, we discussed several features and some thoughts on maybe some things that may or may not be important in 1.06, like bricks. Right at the tail end, though, Army of the Mississippi came down here, and they have retaken Evansville, Indiana, which we had captured a couple months ago as we looked to assert Confederate control over the Ohio River. Predictably enough, they didn't like that. They had kind of moved in this direction a little earlier, but didn't do anything. This army had come down this way, but then moved back north. Now the Army of the Mississippi has come up, I think, from the direction of Cairo, and have taken Evansville back. Partially, we don't like that because that's another little stretch of the Ohio River here that is back under Union control. If we look at our frontline map. And also because Evansville controls some IIPs that are in Kentucky, which is a state that has seceded to the Confederacy, and which, we'd like, I'm trying to bring state support back up, or at least get it to stop falling now that it's one of our states. It's not an occupied state, it's a Confederate state now. It's loyal. They're just not all that terribly happy. See, we're at 63% right now. So for those reasons, even though we're just about into, well, it's November 1st, we are into winter. I've brought the Army of Tennessee under Albert Sidney Johnston, which consists only of one corps. It's Hardee's Corps. And they've come down from Louisville to kick these guys back up north. And so we're about to attack them there in just a moment. I want to bring out one other thing before I do that, though. We've got some policies available. I don't think I'm going to take any right now. But as I was looking at these off camera, there's something I noticed. Yeah, I'm saving the farming, the ag subsidies for something else. I'm not interested in cotton is king, not interested in civil order. I am interested in trade warfare. I want to eventually get a level or two in this. It looks pretty good because it helps blockades, both of them. It helps our blockade against the unit, and it also helps us against their blockade on southern ports. So I'm pretty interested in that, but I'm going to hold fire on it. This one is improves intelligence. I think we're doing okay in that regard overall. Of course, I always like more intelligence, but I'm not feeling a need to put military subsidies toward that. For military subsidies, I think I am... I think I'm probably... We're pretty close. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the legacy rifles as the next military policy. I know that Mississippi's become available with this, and I hope, and even if they, I'm just curious to see, I wonder if the old Hall's rifles are covered by this. It's not specifically mentioned in the write-up, but anyway, that's going to be my next move here. But I mentioned I was saving farm subsidies for other things, and that is primarily I am interested in maybe getting another farm or another mill or another plantation or something like that. Even though there's, we're doing okay in this regard, but that's kind of what I'm interested. Or even if I do take another policy, I'm much more interested in farm mechanization or subsidized agriculture than I am interested in cotton is king. But what I noticed here is the cost to build a farm is much cheaper now than what we saw earlier. And that is because some subsidies have built up. This is the buy now button, but it's not an either or. It's not a case of you spend your budget or you spend subsidies. It's you're going to spend whatever subsidies you have built up, and then the extra is what the leftover is. So even if you want to use subsidies to make any of these buildings cheaper, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to wait for this subsidy bar to completely fill up. You can let it go halfway or most of the way, and it'll be a lot cheaper. And here's a good example. I'm not going to, but if I wanted to build a mill right now, it's almost there. Like I could hit play and it would probably just immediate fill. The cost is only $34K extra, right? So anyway, that was probably obvious to most people. It wasn't really obvious to me until just now when I saw that. Oh, it still uses the subsidy money. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into this battle. I considered putting Hardy into defensive stance before going in there and attacking. The idea being I would have more engineering points in that mode. That's probably still a good idea. But I don't think I'm going to do it. Get Army HQ up a little closer, make sure he gets in the battle the first day. I think they always do. Many times I've noticed a battle start and it says that the Army commander is hours away or even the following day. And then they just show up during the deployment phase of the battle. I don't know if that's a bug or what, but I've noticed that many times. Not just in 1.06 beta, but in the live version prior to that as well. I guess I should actually start time moving. There's that Mexico headline again. Those repeat a lot when you load the game up. Yeah, see, we've already got slow winter movement now that we're into November. Didn't really want to move this army, it just kind of was compelled by the loss of Evansville. Alright. Okay, Hardy, go attack this army. And he's going to... I should have turned off the river movement. The whole reason I landed him here is I didn't want him engaging while in river stance. Because I didn't know what that would... I guess we're about to find out if it has an ill effect. There we go. Okay, we've got not quite 16,000 men against a little over 14,000 men. No cav, no artillery. I've kind of been noticing that a lot. This army has no artillery, and Mansfield's army, the Army of the Ohio, didn't have any artillery. That kind of makes me wonder if the AI is having some trouble with the 1.06 system and just isn't procuring artillery or artillery battalions for some reason. Even if they're having trouble navigating the projects and everything to get better cannons, it doesn't really explain to me why they're not recruiting artillery battalions with the default 6-pounders. But anyway, I've just noticed that on multiple federal armies now. So he does have more infantry than we do, but I think that'll be all right. See, like right here, it says Hardy Corps is engaging, and it's going to be 4 hours before Sidney Johnson's Army HQ shows up. I kind of think he's probably going to be there at the start. Let's see if he is or not. All right, let's get in there and see what map we got. Kind of interested to see what map we get. I don't think I've ever fought a battle in Indiana before. I bet it's that same map that we had up at Lawrenceburg in the last battle. That map I've seen lots of places. I kind of think it's a kind of a generic, oops, we didn't prepare a map for this region, so we're going to use, we're going to go in our standby map. It is different. Okay, we're in a meeting situation. What's the relative morale? We are on Union territory, and at least for the moment, they've got a little bit more morale than we do. Armies are pretty close, though. Yeah, supply outstanding both sides. Got it. Where is the objective? Proud Peak, which is way up here. And that looks like a heck of a... So it says meeting engagement, but this is pretty clearly a defensive battle for them and an attacking. Ooh. Okay, so we got a big slope to go up. Mostly open ground. There's some woods over here. And there's a stone wall. Okay. Well, where are we? We're starting down here in the south. Yeah, there's Johnson. He is here. Just get him away from the edge. Let's see what we got. Well, we know he's going to be here. Why would he be anywhere else? I know I don't want to come straight up here against that stone wall. I'm not going to do that. I really don't like to move a lot of units through woods. But in this case, if we just take it slow, preserve our fatigue and cohesion, that might be the way to go. Either on this side or on this side. And I kind of prefer that he not know where we are until we're ready to make the assault. Kind of similar to the pre-battle maneuvering for the last battle. 2 episodes ago, for those who may not have seen it, we fought a battle in Ohio near Cincinnati. I wound up making a monumental misclick error, and it turned into a gigantic mess. Well, we won the battle, but I have heard people say before, and have thought often myself that the AI doesn't have fog of war, right? They can see the whole map. They always know where you are. Occasionally I see battles that make me question that assessment. And the Battle of Lawrenceburg 2 episodes ago, which would have been episode 18, was one such battle. The AI actually had a good defensive position in that battle. It was just simply pointed completely in the wrong way. We came up kind of almost behind them. Which, if the AI doesn't have fog of war, he wouldn't have set up that way on either the initial deployment phase or the overnight deployment phase before day 2. So I think maybe they do experience fog of war. And if that's true, instead of coming this way and then moving around like this from this direction to go up and bypass the stone wall, I'm kind of thinking, let's come this way. And hopefully he doesn't see us until, we're right in here. Just in case he's doing parapets as well, which he might be. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to bring the army up this route and make an attack kind of in this direction. I mean, we have to go uphill regardless. And he's still got this darn fence, but I'd much rather face that than go up into a stone wall. So that's the plan. I got some maneuvering and some marching and stuff to do, and I'm going to put a cut in here, and we'll be back whenever we see where the Federals are. All right. Okay, the Federal position is spotted. Moving the main force up this way as described before. Cavalry came out here to see where they were, and right where expected. At the top of this hill. Not only do they have their stone wall, they've also put up breastworks along here, which seems a little redundant, right? I mean, I think breastworks and stone wall are pretty similar in cover value, so that might actually work against them a little bit as far as having to maneuver in this area. I don't know, but in any case, yeah, they're set up right where we expected, and I thought this was pretty interesting. Notice how he even refused the flank a little bit here. So even if, even when we do come up from this flanking direction, he's still, he's still got some defenses facing us. It's a nice position. It's way up on high ground, and it's well anchored on both sides by problematic terrain. So, nice job, AI. Okay, it is 7 o'clock in the morning on day 2, November 4th, 1861. It says the Battle of Evansville, but this kind of seems to me this ought to be called the Battle of Proud Peak. Got our infantry all set up here to make the advance into the flank. They do have some forest to go through. Deployment zone gave me enough room. I think I was able to just place the artillery right where they need to be. Decided to put forest here right next to them just to give them a little morale boost and kind of protect them a little bit so they weren't hanging out there too much. And then I've got Pierce's infantry here pretty close to them too. So I think the artillery is adequately protected. This one's sticking out a little bit because it's 12-pounder howitzers. And they can just barely reach to the top of that peak. Now this is just kind of showing their... Yeah, they'll be alright. They'll be able to get some shots off. Alright, without further ado, I've also got skirms out all along here, as I typically do. Here we go. And yep, artillery is Fighting off. Okay, interesting. He did redeploy a little bit. Let's have a look at this. And he kind of moved over here behind the objective and is it's like he's kind of facing this way after all, but he's moved back a bit. Yeah, it's still a pretty good position, but I don't think it's quite as good as what he had before. There is a fence there. Okay, so we can kind of take our time coming up this slope, and we want to take our time so that we don't tire out the brigades and get their cohesion all messed up. So we'll just take it in little chunks and make sure that they're, you know, intact and not too tired. So with that in mind, let's just kind of move up to the edge of the wood. Of course, now what looked like a decent artillery position is no longer such a great artillery position, but it's all right. So over here, they're going to be a little bit open. Let's see if we can find a spot for the artillery to pop at them. There is kind of a little ridge running down through here. Coming up here is just too close. Alright, limber up. Let's come to about here. I guess maybe they did spot all that infantry behind the woods. So, so does the AI have fog of war? I don't know. Sometimes it seems like they do. Sometimes it seems like they don't. I think the thing to do is just kind of work on them, you know, with artillery and with skirmishers on this end, and then maybe make the push over here. They're kind of in a, I mean, they're way up on this high ground, but, you know, kind of the ridge line runs this way, and they're across it. It would be kind of awkward for this side to support that side and vice versa. I know at least that 12-pound howitzer battalion is going to have to move closer than that. Just ease them up a little bit. About to... I'll hazard that far. Good and okay, failing and okay, good and okay, good, intact and rested, okay. Those guys are doing all right. All right, overall we're not doing too bad. Let's move on up a little bit closer. I don't want to move him yet. Let's move the Gruder's division ahead. I want to keep him kind of clear of the movement problems of this parapet, at least in his final position. Okay. Okay, send Limberley artillery. Let's see how they're doing here. And they still need to move up a little bit, looks like. We're close enough, I don't think they need to unlimber again, though. Yeah, they're getting shots. Let them. Let's move the commanders up. Lardy's banging away, but I think they're only banging away at this one skirmisher outfit. But he's about to start getting engaged by, there we go. That'll help drive him back in. Intact, well rested, intact, well rested. That looks good. Good and rested. Good and rested. All right. Need to get this division up a little bit more. I need to get Hardy. Well, he needs to send... That spot's fine, I think. rather have this artillery firing on this brigade if I can. Most of those casualties there, 171 for us, 200 for him, I think was overnight attrition, not combat losses. Sure these guys have line of sight. Someone right over here. those skirmishers aren't doing any good. Have a loose order. $1,800 to $600, things are going well. Despite us being out in open ground, they are too now. And now Cav's going to come in for this flank attack. Or mounted rifles, I should say, as has been discussed before. Get up in there. He's already taken some losses. Let's get some more fire coming from this side before we... Yeah, those damn muskets. Short-ranged. I'm going to push a musket brigade up into this. I think I better do it with Frost. Bushfire Johnson may not have any shots. Oh, they're retreating. Okay, time for Forrest to do the Forrest thing. $3,000 to 1,000 casualties. Forest. Charge. Forrest still in melee there, grabbing some prisoners. Hope. Don't want to charge into an completely unbroken kind of chase him with fire though. Oh, Macintosh is bagging some more prisoners out of this broken brigade. That's fine. We're at 3,900. Let's finish bagging this one brigade, and then I think we're done with it. Yeah. Did that brigade disintegrate? I think it did. Yeah, 5,000 casualties. Okay. That's enough. Let him go. I won't take any more casualties in the cav. Okay, well there you have it. He lost a little over a third of his infantry, 5,000 of 14,000. And we did take about 1,000 in the infantry and 300 in the cav. We did lose a gun. I'm not quite sure how. I never saw them even being shot at. I guess they were at some point. Okay, let's have a look at the casualties specifically to see how many we captured. Prisoners taken 1,600. Sweet. I just don't. I still don't know if any of our prison camps have completed. I think I did see a couple of construction reports flip by at one point that I didn't look and see what they were. So hopefully those were prison camps. Otherwise, we'll have to parole them. And there we have it. The Battle of Proud Peak. That turned out pretty well. Given their position, I thought that was going to be a little bit worse than what it was. But we kind of came at them, you know, I mean, it's high ground, but the spine is running this way. So really, you know, it was side slope. Both sides were sort of on somewhat even ground to some degree. Even though our major attack came from this direction, it was still uphill. That worked out. And then so we should be flipping Evansville back toward Confederate control and reestablish our control in the river. Which means we need to stay here at Evansville for a little while, and then we'll hop on the river and head back up to Louisville. Pierce picks up some fame. Well deserved. Pierce is a good guy. And then one of their brigade commanders was defamed. So this is showing 1665. A little bit different, but yeah, about the same. Captured 4,000 more small arms. Hopefully there's some actual rifles in there. That's good. No guns, because there were no guns to cap. Let's have a look in our armory, just to see if those already show up. That looks the same, same. Yeah, we did. Over 5,000 Springfield rifle muskets, and I know I had used... Yeah, I think pretty much all we picked. I think all the guns we got were probably, or the vast majority of them were Springfield rifle muskets, and we got enough here for 2 more brigades. And we've also got a brigade's worth of Mississippis. Okay. And we will start recapturing Evansville here momentarily as soon as they break off and the battle formally ends. And I think that we'll go ahead and advance time enough for that to happen. Confederate armies invade the North. Did I just fulfill a strategic objective with that? Win a major battle. We did that a long time ago. Win in Union territory. Yeah. Which means we just popped the Union national morale down again. No, it wasn't that battle because we fought a battle in Ohio as well. So we didn't do that. 5 consecutive land battles. Surely we have already done that before now. That wasn't the 5th battle. That was like the 8th or 9th in this campaign. I don't know what that newspaper headline was about. Because we did this already. We did that already. And had to have done this already. So... question is, what is Hardy's supply status now? Okay, well there's another slightly separate newspaper headline. And we captured Evansville before. So... that wasn't a new thing either. And we haven't even captured it yet. We've started to. Okay, this is kind of making me wonder what we've done to the... Okay, 58 to 56. That's not too bad. It'll probably drop another point when Evansville falls. It's a smaller city. 3. Time running, still in battle... Oh, right. Because we went to day 2, which means they'll stay locked in... There we go. Alright, he's probably just going to go right up here to Vincennes. Alright, now let's have a look at... 74%. Yeah, just as soon as Evansville is captured, I'm going to put them on the river and get them back to Louisville. All right. Well, that will do for this episode after the Battle of Proud Peak near Evansville. If you like what we're doing with the channel and like the content, leave a like, leave a comment, maybe even a subscribe. But at any rate, I Appreciate it very much. Thank you for watching.